Well, hello again. It would seem that the rear shock is worn out and you need to replace it. Shit. Or maybe good. Who wants to feel every little bump and pothole you drive over after all? Anyway, during the course of this video you will learn to disconnect and replace your worn out rear shock. This job as a whole is rather easy, but is more involving than you might think. You will need the following parts: a replacement shock and a replacement upper mounting bushing. Before getting started on this project, you will need the following tools. Start by removing the seat. To do this, unscrew and remove the 3 bolts found on the seat frame from the frame of the scooter. Next step, remove the tank. Now remove the 2 bolts found at the rear of the tank. Pull the tank up and slightly towards the rear of the scooter. This should let the fuel tap pull away from the scooter body. Now rest the tank on top of the scooter, allowing for the fuel line to stay connected. If you need more room to work, then disconnect the fuel and oil lines from the tank. Next step, use a board underneath your stand to raise the scooter height. Then remove the engine side cowl. Place aside. Now loosen and remove the bolt found on the lower end of the shock from the engine mount. With a 14mm ratcheting wrench, reach into the frame and by using touch, unscrew the bolt found on and within that connects the top of the shock to the frame. Remove bolt. Now with the new shock, put the new buffer on it or reuse the old one. You should be able to do this by simply unscrewing and screwing it back onto the new shock by hand. Now with your hands, slide the shock up into the frame and guide the bolt on top with the rubber buffer through the frame. With one hand, keep the shock in place, and with the other, replace the washer and nut. Hand tighten at this point, then take your ratcheting wrench and tighten this down. Next step, we're going to reconnect the bottom of the shock to the engine bolt. Slide the bolt through both, then tighten these down with 2 wrenches. If needed at this point, reconnect the fuel line and the oil line to your tank. Next step, prep the fuel line rod lever, then slide the tank back into the frame. Lastly, replace the 2 bolts at the rear of the gas tank, then prop the seat frame onto your Vespa and replace the 3 bolts that were tight. Then replace the 3 bolts that were holding down the seat. Now it's time to put your cowls back on, kick over your scooter, and have a great ride.